Tuesday Seventh-day Adventists, a revival of original Adventism and ancient Christianity, presents Escape for Thy Life. Good day, this is Brother Medina for Tuesday Seventh-day Adventist, and please let us start with a word of prayer. Gracious loving Father, be with us as we enter into this presentation. Bless everyone to understand carefully what is being said, to see how late time is to prepare for the second coming of Jesus. These mercies we ask of you through the truths of Christ. Amen. Well, today, the name of our program is Sooner Than You Think. Sooner than you think. Why? Because the end is drawing nearer and nearer. We are close to the end sooner than you think. If we look at Revelation chapter 13 and verse 11, here is what we are told. I quote, "I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." Verse 12 tells us, "And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed." End of quote. Here we are told of a power growing up out of the earth. This power is the United States of America. The United States of America, only about 300 and something years old, grew up in an area where there were no great nations before, and this America is prophesied to be the one to push the mark of the beast, to cause people to worship the beast and his image. Verse 13 to verse 15 shows that miracles will be done in this nation and by the religions of this nation to get the mark of the beast enforced and to get an image of the beast formed by governments. The Bible tells us that this nation will influence the world, and this is when the end comes. So the United States of America is what is prophesied of in the Bible to bring about the end of the world through using its influence to get the mark of the beast enforced globally. Yes, my dear people, The facts are, other powers have challenged the global influence of America. The latest power to challenge it is China. Yes, my dear people. Now, America must regain its self-determination away from the international bankers that have controlled it for too long. This means that America must gain top influence in the world above China. This is what is happening now. God has allowed this horrible thing to happen from China with the virus and other things to take down China, because the international bankers want China and a new world order in a global communist socialist state. But God is saying that that is not what is prophesied. What is prophesied is for America to religiously influence the world. So for that to happen, China must fall. And this first clip that we show you here is giving you evidence that it is already happening. The political process is there where China is falling and America is regaining an influence which will be even more stronger. Now look at this first clip, and everything the President of America says here is true.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Thank you. I'm here today to talk about our relationship with China and several new measures to protect American security and prosperity. China's pattern of misconduct is well known. For decades, they've ripped off the United States like no one has ever done before. Hundreds of billions of dollars a year were lost dealing with China, especially over the years during the prior administration. China raided our factories, offshored our jobs, gutted our industries, stole our intellectual property, and violated their commitments under the World Trade Organization. To make matters worse, they are considered a developing nation, getting all sorts of benefits that others, including the United States, are not entitled to. But I have never solely blamed China for this. They were able to get away with the theft like no one was able to get away with before because of past politicians and, frankly, past presidents. But unlike those who came before, my administration negotiated and fought for what was right. It's called fair and reciprocal treatment. China has also unlawfully claimed territory in the Pacific Ocean, threatening freedom of navigation and international trade. And they broke their word to the world on ensuring the autonomy of Hong Kong. The United States wants an open and constructive relationship with China, but achieving that relationship requires us to vigorously defend our national interests. The Chinese government has continually violated its promises to us and so many other nations. These plain facts cannot be overlooked or swept aside. The world is now suffering as a result of the malfeasance of the Chinese government. China's cover-up of the Wuhan virus allowed the disease to spread all over the world, instigating a global pandemic that has cost more than 100,000 American lives and over 1 million lives worldwide. Chinese officials ignored their reporting obligations to the World Health Organization and pressured the World Health Organization to mislead the world when the virus was first discovered by Chinese authorities. Countless lives have been taken and profound economic hardship has been inflicted all around the globe. They strongly recommended against me doing the early ban from China, but I did it anyway and was proven to be 100% correct. China has total control over the World Health Organization, despite only paying $40 million per year compared to what the United States has been paying, which is approximately $450 million a year. We have detailed the reforms that it must make and engage with them directly, but they have refused to act. Because they have failed to make the requested and greatly needed reforms, We will be today terminating our relationship with the World Health Organization and redirecting those funds to other worldwide and deserving urgent global public health needs. The world needs answers from China on the virus. We must have transparency. Why is it that China shut off infected people from Wuhan to all other parts of China? It went nowhere else. It didn't go to Beijing. It went nowhere else. But they allowed them to freely travel throughout the world, including Europe and the United States. The death and destruction caused by this is incalculable. We must have answers, not only for us, but for the rest of the world. This pandemic has underscored the crucial importance of building up America's economic independence, reshoring our critical supply chains, and protecting America's scientific and technological advances. For years, the government of China has conducted illicit espionage to steal our industrial secrets, of which there are many. Today, I will issue a proclamation to better secure our nation's vital university research and to suspend the entry of certain foreign nationals from China who we have identified as potential security risks. I am also taking action to protect the integrity of America's financial system, by far the best in the world. I am instructing my presidential working group on financial markets to study the differing practices of Chinese companies listed on the U.S. financial markets with the goal of protecting American investors. Investment firms should not be subjecting their clients to the hidden and undue risks associated with financing Chinese companies that do not play by the same rules. Americans are entitled to fairness and transparency. Several of the most significant actions we're taking pertain to deeply troubling situations unfolding in Hong Kong. This week, China unilaterally imposed control over Hong Kong's security. This was a plain violation of Beijing's treaty obligations with the United Kingdom in the Declaration of 1984 and explicit provisions of Hong Kong's Basic Law. It has 27 years to go. The Chinese government's move against Hong Kong is the latest in a series of measures that are diminishing the city's long-standing and very proud status. This is a tragedy for the people of Hong Kong, the people of China, and indeed the people of the world. China claims it is protecting national security. But the truth is that Hong Kong was secure and prosperous as a free society. Beijing's decision reverses all of that. It extends the reach of China's invasive state security apparatus into what was formerly a bastion of liberty. China's latest incursion, along with other recent developments that degraded the territory's freedoms, makes clear that Hong Kong is no longer sufficiently autonomous to warrant the special treatment that we have afforded the territory since the handover. China has replaced its promised formula of one country, two systems with one country, one system. Therefore, I am directing my administration to begin the process of eliminating policy exemptions that give Hong Kong different and special treatment. My announcement today will affect the full range of agreements we have with Hong Kong, from our extradition treaty to our export controls on dual-use technologies and more, with few exceptions. We will be revising the State Department's travel advisory for Hong Kong to reflect the increased danger of surveillance and punishment by the Chinese state security apparatus. We will take action to revoke Hong Kong's preferential treatment as a separate customs and travel territory from the rest of China. The United States will also take necessary steps to sanction PRC and Hong Kong officials directly or indirectly involved in eroding Hong Kong's autonomy and just, if you take a look, absolutely smothering Hong Kong's freedom. Our actions will be strong. our actions will be meaningful. More than 2 decades ago, on a rainy night in 1997, British soldiers lowered the Union flag and Chinese soldiers raised the Chinese flag in Hong Kong. The people of Hong Kong felt simultaneously proud of their Chinese heritage and their unique Hong Kong identity. The people of Hong Kong hoped that in the years and decades to come, China would increasingly come to resemble its most radiant and dynamic city. The rest of the world was electrified by a sense of optimism that Hong Kong was a glimpse into China's future, not that Hong Kong would grow into a reflection of China's past. In every decision, I will continue to proudly defend and protect the workers, families, and citizens of the United States of America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sir, why not address Minnesota, sir?
Billed as a news conference, wasn't it? Ah.
Yes, my dear people. One of the planks in the Communist Manifesto is the setting up of a central bank to control the supply of money in a country. The Federal Reserve in America is a private corporation, a central bank set up by the bankers to control the flow of money. Now, it so happens that for the first time since 1913, the Central Bank of America has lost its influence through the private individuals that set it up. The Fed have been taken over by the United States government. President Trump has taken it over. This will make America great again, that it will be able to influence the world for the mark of the beast. Look at this clip.
Hi, this is Michael Tillinger, and we need to discuss a critical subject here. A subject so vast and so big that it completely boggles the mind how this could have happened, taken place right under our noses, in full view of all global media, all the people, all the researchers of the world, all the financial institutions, the bankers, the accountants, the presidents, the leaders of the world. The biggest event in global finance in the past 270 years. In the last few days, or the last 2 weeks of March 2020, Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States, successfully took control of the Federal Reserve Bank of the USA. Now, if you're jumping up and down saying, oh, it's not possible, I've never heard of it, it wasn't reported on, you'd be quite right. It was not reported on. Why was it not reported on? Because the same people that own the Federal Reserve Bank of the United States own all the other news media, and they would certainly not go out there with a big fanfare and news to say, oh, the Central Bank of the United States has just been taken over or nationalized by Donald J. Trump. So very few scant articles made it that Donald Trump brought the Fed into the Treasury Department of the United States, and that's news that was put out. But it's much, much bigger than that. The biggest central bank on earth, the Federal Reserve Bank of the United States, is now out of the hands of the Rothschild family. It is in full control under Donald Trump and his new 2IC to run the Fed for the United States, Larry Fink. And what it does, it presents the whole world with an incredible opportunity to do the same. Every president, every leader of the world can do the same, to bring your central bank into the Treasury Department of your country and simply say, thank you very much, we know what to do from here. It's important to realize that those who control the flow of money and those who control the printing, the creation of money, not those who have money, that's got nothing to do with it. There are many rich people around the world, incredibly wealthy people, but they're not in control of the money. It's those who are in control of the money that run the world, with their secret organizations and so much more happening behind the scenes that ordinary people have no bloody idea about. But so if you start following the money and you realize who controls the money, who's got the absolute right to print and distribute and create money out of thin air, then we realize where all the problems in the world are. And it's very difficult to figure out exactly when it happened because the media only responded a while later. I managed to find an interview that was done between Jerome Powell, the current chairman of the Fed, the Federal Reserve Bank of the United States, where he clearly states that Donald Trump now has full control of the Fed and can do pretty much anything he wants.
Yes, my dear people, the globalist socialists are fighting back in the riots that you see here going on now in the United States. They are against the Trump administration because they want to remove it, that they can globalize the world with communism. So they're trying to destroy the Trump's government, and they're the ones behind using Antifa and other groups to create chaos in America. But the American government is fighting back, and it is causing the religious right to come forward. What you see here in this clip is President Trump standing with a Bible before St. John's Church that was almost burnt down by the anarchists, and by holding the Bible he's signaling America is going to be greater than it was, showing you where America is going. America is going towards the religious right even more, and the mark of the beast is to come very soon. Brethren, it is sooner than you think. Take a look at this clip.
When the mobs came, they abandoned us. Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. The nation went up in flames this weekend. No one in charge stood up to save America. Our leaders dithered, they cowered, they openly sided with the destroyers. In many cases, they egged them on. Later, they will deny doing any of this. They are denying it now. But you know the truth because you saw it happen. We're going to begin tonight with where my family lives and has lived for 35 years in the northwest quadrant of Washington, D.C. This is called Mack Market. It's on MacArthur Boulevard, which is named after General MacArthur during the war. It's our neighborhood store. It's walking distance from my house. People meet there every morning for coffee. Kids come after school for candy. It's as close to a community gathering spot as we have. The market is run by the Kim family. The Kims are immigrants from Korea. They are revered in our neighborhood for their decency and their hard work. When they lost their son several years ago, the neighbors grieved for them. The Kims are not political. They've never hurt anyone. They only make things better. But last night, the mob came for their store. At 1 a.m. this morning, Mr. Kim was kneeling alone on the sidewalk trying to salvage what he has spent his life building. Scenes like this played out in hundreds of neighborhoods across this country, maybe yours. Here are a few. In Columbia, South Carolina, a man called the police when things began to fall apart. Rioters saw him call. They surrounded that man and they beat him. Onlookers laughed as he was pummeled.
Oh, hell no. They about to get on his. Oh, Lord. Oh, no. What the fuck? Damn.
In Rochester, New York, a group of 8 men smashed the windows of a jewelry store. A couple who lived above the shop emerged to confront them. Both of them were viciously beaten with a ladder and a 2x4. In Dallas, a man armed with what appeared to be a sword did his best to defend a business from looters. The mob bashed him in the head with a rock and a skateboard.
What are you doing?
It's hard to watch. In San Jose, rioters with crowbars stormed the highway and attacked vehicles trying to pull drivers from their cars. In Birmingham, Alabama, a local reporter called Stephen Quinn was beaten and then he was robbed on live television as he tried to cover the looting.
That is the horrible scene that you see right there as they are. We're wanting to make sure that Stephen is all right.
In Portland, Oregon, a man was beaten apparently for daring to carry an American flag in public. He never released the flag, by the way.
Done with people like you. I have an opinion.
How many of these people died? How many were murdered by the rioters? We don't know yet. At the least, some were likely disabled for life. They were beaten that badly. And then there was the mass stealing. It seemed to be everywhere over the weekend. In Buckhead, an upscale part of Atlanta, rioters stole a Tesla from a dealership and drove it through an indoor mall, just to underscore how completely out of control things were. In Portland, Oregon, mobs looted Louis Vuitton, Apple, and Chase Bank, among many others. They often set fires as they left. In Chicago, protesters fought systemic racism by running through a Nike store stealing shoes. And in Washington, D.C., a federal city surrounded by military bases and protected at all times by the single highest concentration of law enforcement in the world, criminals operated with apparent impunity in the streets. They looted Georgetown last night. They smashed the windows in federal buildings. They desecrated virtually every war memorial in the city a week after Memorial Day. And then, as you likely know, last night they set fire to St. John's Episcopal Church, a 200-year-old building that has welcomed every American president since James Madison. It's right across the street from the White House. For people stuck inside anywhere during this insanity, the sick, the elderly, the powerless, the experience was terrifying.
Stay by. We have a great country. That's my thoughts. This country in the world. Great. It won't take long. It's not going to take long. You see what's going on. It's coming back. It's coming back strong. It'll be greater than ever before.
Do you rather want to further inflaming tensions by using the U.S. military to suppress it? Are you prepared to use the U.S. military against you?
Country in the world. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to keep it nice and safe.
Guys, hold right here. Hold right here. Hold a second. Hold for a second, please. Yep.
Yes, my dear people, everything we have said here was to show you the truth. And these are the things that will be taking place very soon to bring about the end. The political events to bring about the end are already in its process. And sooner than you think, America will be so great again that it can influence the whole world in the mark of the beast. Yes, my dear people, Bible prophecy is fulfilling before your eyes. You need to get prepared. Now, there are many things about this we cannot show you because our time is short. But you need to know that this shows you that we are closer to the end than you think. The end is sooner coming than you think. You need to accept Jesus Christ as your Savior and prepare for the end before it is too late. So may God bless you as you follow Jesus Christ and as you make the right decisions in Jesus' holy name. Amen.